really hope you enjoyed that introduction. Of course, using the soundtrack to the iconic Saving Private Ryan opening scene to really bring the diorama to life. I do think actually this is my best diorama and best video to date, and I'd love to know in the comments what you think. This was a diorama that I started, must have been over 15 years ago. So in many ways, this is a bit of a restoration build. You'll see that I get rid of the old Airfix bunker scene and scratch build our own. We add the introduction of a Heller Sherman, the amphibious funnels on the top. And we've also introduced some US Rangers specific to this diorama scene. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy this one, and yeah, let's just dive right in. Okay, step one of the beach part of the diorama is to clean this up a little bit. As you can see, we've got sort of seeds and bits of sawdust on here, and yeah, we need to clean that up. Then we want to get some water on here, and yeah, make that sort of blend in with the landing craft. Get some white crests on the waves with some paint, and that should look pretty good. I would say we probably need a bit of weathering on the landing craft as well. They're quite plain and ordinary looking at the moment. This area of the beach here, you can see these figures are pretty much sorted. But as we come onto the beach, we need to fix these figures here. And there was obviously a load of landmines at Omaha, so we need some explosions all over. And of course, we need to build our M4 D-Day Sherman. Well, we're going to start with a soft paintbrush to just get this away. And then we'll use the airbrush with nothing in it just to blast all these bits away and clean it up like that. For the water then, we're using AK's Water Gel Transparent. Well, there's a fine line between realism and being unnecessarily gory with dioramas of this nature. So we're not going to go too heavy, but I do have here some clear red, which will go in the water, and then we'll put another layer of clear gel on top of that. And like I say, I'm not going to go sinister with it. I just want to add a level of realism. See, I think that has already gone a little bit OTT, and we're going to reduce that. So I'm just going to dab it. Blot some of that. Of course, once it's in water, it does spread really quickly. So that's the sort of thing you would be seeing in real life. But yeah, we don't want to draw too much attention to those areas. While that's drying, I want to turn my attention to the landing craft. I want to give these a bit of weathering because at the moment they're looking quite dull and drab. So we're going to use some panel line wash, Black Knight from Ammo. Well, a key addition to this diorama that we didn't have before is the amphibious Sherman. And we've got this one from Heller, and we're going to build that now. As you can see then, each little bit is made of 5 separate parts, and we have to make 3 of those. There's our pile of bits. Each one of these gets 2 wheels. This piece sits over there like so, and then this part here sits on top of that like so. And there you have it. Just need to make another 2 of those now. That's the wheels done on one side. Now let's do the other. Et voila! Turning now to the top half of the hull. And as you can see, we have our pile of bits. As you can see, a hugely detailed kit for such a small model. But there we have it. That is the top hull complete. We can turn our attention now to the turret. And again, incredibly detailed, lots of parts, nicely called out stage by stage. Well, now it looks like a Sherman. Time to paint this Sherman, and we're using Ammo MIGs 240. Now that that's painted, it's decal time. The next significant addition to this diorama is these US Rangers D-Day figures from Pegasus Hobbies. Well, the water is looking a lot better, has to be said. However, what we're missing is some white crests on these waves. So we're going to use some primer and an airbrush. Here we have the beach section of the diorama, and from the attic I've brought down the cliff face. As you can see, it comes with Airfix's bunker defense. This diorama was from their 60th anniversary set. Not that keen on it, and I also think that it makes the diorama a little bit too unwieldy. So we're going to scratch build our own bunker that will go further forward, and it means we can cut the back of this off. And you may have noticed the whole thing is now sat on a new board, which will give it a nice solid base and make it a single diorama. Here you can see we have cut ourselves some wooden pieces, and these have now been PVA glued, and we'll let that dry. Okay, that's the US Rangers painted, and you can see this is the colour palette that we've gone with. So we've got a light brown, a mahogany, and a white from Vallejo, and we've got this khaki green. And essentially what we've done is mix those colours together to give us 50 shades of khaki. And what we're going to use now is this Black Knight wash from Ammo to really pick out the details of these figures. Well, that's the wash done. And apart from highlighting the details, what that's also done is darkened up the overall colour, which nicely simulates the wet uniforms from the beach. But we're not done there. What we will do is we'll separate out those that are fresh out the landing craft versus those that have made their way up the beach, and we will use a gloss varnish and a matte varnish, and also some dust sand effects.